Hey guys, what's up? It's JRCuber, and in this video we have another unboxing from thecubicle.com. This is a very, very highly anticipated puzzle, one that you guys have been requesting a whole bunch, which is the Shengshao 19 by 19. So let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so we get a few other things in here. This is a bit of a teaser for what's going to be coming next, but I'm going to go over this stuff in separate videos. This video is all about this puzzle right here. So let's go ahead and open it up. Oh my gosh. Wow, look at that. Alright, here is the Shengshao 19 by 19. This is the new highest order mass-produced end-by-end puzzle previously held by the 17 by 17. We've now gone beyond. Didn't think it would happen for quite a while, but you know, here we are. We've already got it. And this is very small. I'm honestly really surprised at like how manageable the size of this puzzle is. So this is not new. As you can see, it didn't come in any plastic wrap or anything like that. This is the tester unit that the Cubicle has. So this has been solved before on their Cubicle live streams, and this is the one that they sent to me. So I can't keep this. I'm gonna have to send it back and everything, just like with the X-Minx. That's fine with me though. I just wanna be able to show it to you guys and solve it. All right, let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. So here is the Moyu 15 by 15, and I was thinking that the pieces were gonna be about this size, but as you can see, they are even smaller. So the 15 by 15 is not really that much smaller than this 19 by 19 here. So these pieces look really big in comparison. So it's gonna be crazy when we actually get the 17 by 17 in here. So here is the 17 by 17.
Damn, boy, he's thick, boy!
It is unbelievable to me how much just more massive this one is compared to this one, even though this is 2 more layers. Oh man, this is really crazy. This has got some of the smallest pieces I've ever seen. I'm really curious to see how it'll move. All right, very outer layers. That actually moves really, really well. The outer layers I kind of expected to move well, and let's see how about these, the other ones. Okay, 2 layers, good. 3 layers, good. Wow, yeah, these all pretty much feel the same. Like, it's the same level of like speed and smoothness. Like, as when you get inner, like to the very, very inner layers, it's a little bit more not smooth, a little more catchy, just because you're moving more pieces. I don't know, like more pieces are kind of moving over each other with a greater amount of force. Either way though, like the movement is totally fine. Like it moves honestly better than I was expecting. I thought it was gonna be kind of more stiff than this, but like I'm just kind of seeing like doing a commutator. Yeah, this is really not bad. And I love the fact that you can actually like grip the whole thing properly. Like you can get your fingers around it. You know, you obviously can't do that with the 17 by 17, but it's gonna be totally possible with this, which means I honestly don't think this is gonna take as long to solve as the 17 by 17 did. Like I think I'm gonna be able to do this in a shorter amount of time. The 17 by 17 solve I live streamed when I got that, and that took like 5.5 hours. This, I don't know, maybe just with it being more pieces, it might take around the same time as that, but I think with how much more maneuverable this will be, I'm gonna estimate like maybe 4 hours tops. So I do wanna do like a lot of patterns with this. I think that like the patterns that I did on the 17 by 17 will look even better on this puzzle. For one, because you can get a little bit more detail since you have a 17 by 17 center to work with instead of a 15 by 15 center, and the pieces are smaller. So I think it's gonna look a little bit more well-defined. But first, before we do like any of those kind of patterns, which I'll probably actually just save for another video, I want to do a checkerboard just to show the movement of every single layer. It's kind of just something you have to do with these puzzles. You have to put it in a checkerboard. Whew. Okay, there we go. So there is a full, complete checkerboard on the Shengshao 19 by 19. Wow, I am amazed by this puzzle. This is honestly, I think, just such a huge feat of engineering, I think, to be able to design a puzzle that turns this smoothly, works this well, and feels like as stable and as well put together as this does, and still have it be so small and have those pieces be so tiny. Like, I can't imagine how small the little connecting hooks are inside. Like, the internal mechanism has got to be really complex. So yeah, in terms of stability, the only thing I'm really noticing is just a little bit of piece separation, which is kind of like very unavoidable with a puzzle like this, but it doesn't feel unstable. Like, there is a certain amount of piece separation, right? When you're doing the layers, you can see, you can kind of force it here. Those centers just kind of spreading out a little bit, but like it all seems to kind of just snap back together pretty well. So the other crazy thing about this puzzle is not the amount of layers, but actually the cost. As I'm sure you would expect, a puzzle like this would be pretty expensive, but this one really does take the cake for what I think is the most expensive mass-produced puzzle. It is $1,000. So yeah, I honestly think it's very unlikely that I'll ever get one of these to keep, but if you are hardcore into big cubes and into collecting, like I am, which makes me like the perfect candidate to buy this, then, you know, you can totally get it. The link will be in the description, but like I said, I don't think I'm going to. Just being able to solve it once and hold it in my hands like this is enough for me. All right, well, this is a super awesome puzzle. There's really only one thing left to do. It's time to scramble it. So the strategy for big cubes like this really is just to kind of turn all the layers like this, and then we go the other way. And we just do this kind of thing for a little while.
Start it up.
All right, I think that is a pretty sufficient scramble. There's still, you know, maybe a few kind of big lumps of pieces that are still grouped together here and there, but honestly, with scrambling puzzles like this, you don't have to do a perfect job right off the bat, because as soon as you solve one center, the rest of it is just going to become even more thoroughly scrambled. So it's really not a huge deal. But wow, this is great. Another thing I'm kind of noticing about this now is just like how minor the pillowing is. This I think is the perfect amount. It's just rounded enough so that you have a little bit of an easier time gripping the edges and holding the puzzle, but it's not so much that it just like looks weird. So yeah, this is the scrambled 19 by 19. What an awesome puzzle. I'm excited to solve this. It's been a while since I've just done like a pure end by end big cube before. All right, it's time to go solve this.
The very next evening.
Let's just go ahead and go for it. This is the white side here. The center is right there in the middle. So I'm going to be starting with this center. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we go. And it looks like we have a V-perm. I don't want to do this, so I'm just going to do a Y-perm. To a V-perm. Alright, here we go. Last turn. Whew. And we are done with the 19 by 19. Alright, well, I don't think I quite got that in under 4 hours. Maybe it will once I cut out the breaks and stuff. But yeah, that was, man, quite a long solve. My fingers are really sore. In real time, this took a little over 5 hours. So yeah, we'll see how it ends up being without breaks. But man, this was fun. All right, and we are back with the Shangshao 19 by 19. So this solve went pretty well, actually. It took a little longer than I was kind of wanting it to. I was hoping to get under 4 hours. It ended up being about 4 hours and 35 minutes, give or take a little bit. I pretty much recorded the entire solve. The only thing I missed was during one of the bars in the last two centers, my camera battery died and it didn't make a beep, so I didn't notice it. Luckily, I noticed it after I'd only solved solved like a couple more pieces. So, you know, pretty much the whole solve is there. It's just missing a tiny bit. But yeah, without breaks and without that little bit, it's like 4:36 or something like that, which is, I still think, a pretty respectable time. I haven't really like looked up to see like what other times people have been getting with this. I'm sure people are getting like under 3 hours, under 2 hours, you know, something ridiculous like that. But for myself, I'm pretty happy with that time. And the puzzle itself performed really, really well. I didn't really have any major problems. I did get a pop like very shortly into the solve, and it was a very weird, it wasn't really a pop. What had happened was one of these very outer pieces that was like close to the center had basically gotten shoved into another layer. So basically, I had snagged one of the pieces from one of these bars and pushed it into another bar on another side. It was really weird because it's still like kind of turned, just because the pieces are really small and you can kind of like force your way through it. I was like, okay, that's not good. And I had to basically just kind of take the piece out and see if I could get it back in where it belonged originally, which was actually pretty hard. The turning of the puzzle was really great during solving though. I really didn't have any problems. The only thing that did get a little annoying was just that the very inner layers are just a bit rough. So doing those very middle slice turns was definitely like a bit grating. And the fact that the layers are so small, you have to really like, you know, try and get your finger in the right place to hold the right amount of layers so that when you do the turn, the right layer moves. But since the layers are so small, and because of like, you know, how fingers work, you end up kind of getting part of the tips of your fingers like get brushed by the layer you're turning. So when you're, you know, doing a long marathon solve like I did with this, I did this in one sitting in one night. So by the end of the solve, my fingertips were very sore from just repeatedly having those layers rubbing against them. Also, my right wrist was really aching pretty hard by the end of it, just because the majority of the turns that you're going to be making in the slice turns, it's primarily going to be with your right hand, right? Your left hand kind of stabilizes the puzzle, obviously, and helps you do the turn, but the majority of like the movement of your hands is gonna be like focused on your right. So my right wrist was definitely sore, and it still is a little sore even now. Another complication I had while solving this was that my audio wasn't recording. I thought it was, and it actually was recording, but for some reason I was recording it into Premiere this time because I switched to a PC and I'm starting to edit on Premiere now. Maybe this is just a glitch, I don't know, but when you hit the recording limit, which is like 3 hours or something like that, it just automatically stops, and then it like just deleted all of the audio. Like I went to go listen to the audio and it had only kept the first like 2 seconds of the clip. I think this is a glitch. Like I don't think this is supposed to happen, but you know, I lost the audio. There was nothing I could really do about it. Luckily, when I imported the footage in, I realized that the in-camera mic wasn't as horrendous as I thought it would be. So I just decided to go with that. It still sounds okay. It's not perfect, but it's, you know, passable audio, and there's no way I'm going to re-record this solve. So, you know, stuff like that happens sometimes, but it's okay. So yeah, like I said, this puzzle is $1,000, so I don't think most people are going to be able to get this or even want to get it. But if you are one of those few people that can afford this and wants to add it to their collection, the link will be down in the description as always. Anyways, thanks so much to The Cubicle for sending this to me temporarily to review for you guys. If you guys want to support the channel, you can like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, turn on notifications, and use code JRCuber at thecubicle.com for a 5% discount. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.